What precisely do you think is the problem with modern masculinity?
I think there's a lot of things involved. I think social media is a big part of it.
What is it about social media?
If you were looking to any man that wants to have a good life, he needs to be appreciated. For example, I have a lot of guys that work for me in a steel company. But one thing that I'm constantly challenged with is that guy, even though he's great at what he does, even though he's building America, even though he's doing things that makes the world go round, nobody appreciates him for it, because when he goes on Facebook or Instagram, he sees a 21-year-old that caught a crypto pump or did Amazon drop shipping driving a Lambo in Dubai. I feel like there's a big push in the world to either guilt or shame men into doing things that society wants. And I don't think that's the right way to go at all.
What does society want?
I believe society wants men to be weak. I think they want to be fat. I think they want to be submissive to their wives and the community in the way that maybe they don't want to go. And I think that's why Andrew is so popular. There's no superheroes anymore, man. I was sitting at Andrew's house the other day. This kid sent me a poster of me and Andrew on the wall. And I flipped over and I showed Andrew, I said, "You know this used to be Rambo?" And he goes, "I know." It's fucking crazy. I believe that young men are disenfranchised with the direction that society is trying to take them, particularly in the West. And I think that they're fighting against it. Maybe the red pill space is overcorrecting. I'm not crazy about being called a red pillar. I'm really not, bro.
No, I get it.
But I do believe that there's times where the red pill space, when the world's dragging people in this direction and the red pill's taking them to an extreme, hopefully my genuine hope is that they fall in the middle. They can be a gentleman or they can be a father and they don't hate women. And that's one thing that I think the red pill space will probably like try to promote. Maybe there's a little peacocking. There's things that are wrong in the space, but I think on the average, all they're doing is counteracting what society is making them, and they're hopefully falling in the middle if they have a brain. I heard Destiny say on your show that if you were to measure most red pill content followers' brains, that it would be small. I don't think that's true. I just think those young men want to answer, and they need somebody strong to look up to. And when they look up now, they're superheroes or feminine or whatever, and they don't buy it.
Why doesn't that work, or why is that bad?
For young men, I think that they're disenfranchised with being suppressed as males, in that they want to grow up and they want to do these great things and they want to be strong and they want to be capable. And the same thing with Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson created the same movement in a much different way. And I just think that young men are tired of being asked to not be men. And that's hard to argue with.
I can give you the argument for it. Before I do that, what I really want to understand, every time somebody puts forth this is how I think things should be or whatever, they put forth a hypothesis. So your hypothesis is that men, they're not given a vision of what they could be, and that they have a true nature is what I think.
They have a true nature, and it's getting suppressed. And they want to be something else.
Okay, what is that nature?
That nature is to conquer, to build up as much as they can, become the greatest man they can.
Build up what?
Everything in their life. Truly, men want to be in abundance of resources. They want to have abundance of choice with women. They want to have children. They want to have people that look up to them. They want to feel appreciated. All of these things. And I think those things are by and largely getting suppressed, even in the school system.
In what way does the school system suppress that?
I don't feel like curriculums are made for little boys. I think they're made mostly little. I think girls do better in school than boys. And I think that boys don't want to sit still. I think they want to go outside. I think they want to explore. I think they want to build things. And so when a little boy sits in a classroom and he's told to be quiet or to sit still for hours on end, he's not going to be successful. Even me, myself, I failed 6th grade. I was labeled a 504 student. I got put on Ritalin. I didn't read all that well. And so that made me feel like I was failing from the jump. Well, joke's on them. I substantially make more money than all of my teachers put together every year. The world, particularly little boys, have had enough of being suppressed and let down. The real world is, in my opinion, the best online school that's out there right now. I think that a kid would be better off doing the real world than he would be going to Stanford. And the reason is because there's millionaires that are doing that business that day, teaching you in real time. And there's a group of people helping you. Instead of you studying, it's like, hey, here's the answer. This is what works.
I've seen 13, 14-year-olds in the real world making hella dollar, like, and it will piss us off so much. How are we losing this game? This guy made more in a day than I made in 2 months.
Going to the Winch channel and seeing even younger kids than me that were making all this money made me realize that it is more than possible. I saw kids as young as 12 years old making money in there.
That got me around $30,000.
And now I'm making multi-$1,000 deals.
I've made $20,000.
And so doing that with those young men and helping them grow, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing. It's the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my life. Nobody thanks me for giving them a roof over their head when they pay rent. And certainly not when I hit a construction schedule.
What should a man derive his worth from?
Money, women, cars. That's not going to do it for you ever, ever, ever. It's going to be you meeting the expectation you have for yourself as a man. You envision this man that you're going to become. And I think most people do that from an early age. They see something they want, an avatar, something they want to do, and they want to go become that person. And I believe the formula for happiness and fulfillment is the gap between your expectation of who you become and your reality. And so a lot of guys are not meeting that expectation for themselves. And I think it's harder and harder to do that, particularly in a world where we've gone off the gold standard. A man can't just have a job and support a family and be the man of the house anymore. And I think that's one of the biggest issues with families now.
Do you think that there is anything preordained about what's going to make people feel happy and fulfilled?
Yeah, I think appreciation for a man is one thing. I think it's their job to go earn that appreciation. And I think women want to feel protected and loved and cared for. And they want to know that they have a position with that man where he is going to take care of them forever, or he is going to put all of his efforts into taking care, and he gets fulfillment from it.
How do we bring this into the real world? How do we give young men a map out of a world where I think they have too many choices because they're not truly under threat, and they're making the easy choice at every turn in conjunction with things like chemical exposure, which I do think microplastics play a bigger role in all this, and I want to imagine.
Yeah, man.
How do we help them find a path out?
Cool. So we have to start with the fact that it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult. You have to accept that. From there are things that we're obviously constantly promoting that they avoid. Drugs, porn, chasing women. As much attention as, let's say, me and Andrew and Tristan get for chasing women, I cannot tell you how much I disencourage young men to chase women. I often say, give up your 20s, becoming the best man you can possibly be. Women will see that, they'll jump in front of you. I don't believe in game. I've never taken a game course. I've never taught anybody how to pick up a girl. In fact, I would not even say I have very good game. I think I got really good signals, but that's all predecessed from the work I did to become the best man I can be.
Signals of what?
Instagram. Oh, he has a good lifestyle. He travels, muscles. He's done well for himself. Other men respect him. I think those are good signals. That's
that you would be a good mate.
And I think that's very primal. If you look in the animal kingdom, there's many, many animals that do dances or create certain, or have colors and all these other things. Why did Indians have feathers? So the women knew who could hunt and who couldn't, what tent to get in. I very non-apologetically feel that way. I do think that's very real, and I think it's very primal. Do I think it'll make you happy? I absolutely do not. What makes a young man happy, or what has always made me happy, is working on the man that I'm going to become. I often talk about this thing I have called the rocking chair test, where I have this relationship with the older version of myself, where he can no longer go out and live and work, and he's just sitting on a rocking chair, smoking a cigar, drinking coffee, and he's looking back. And I keep this thing in my phone, a folder, where I speak to him and I tell him, hey, I'm scared of this. Hey, I'm a little bit scared. What if they're lying to me on the plumbing? What if I have to do a MODAD system? And I'm constantly talking to him, because my goal is to make the older version of me happy while I'm trying to become the man that I envision to be in my life. And to do that, you have to take care of things like fitness, money, style, understanding how to network, understanding how to create connection with another human. These are all the things that we're teaching people how to do. You're never going to hear me talking about how to text girls like this, do this, or most importantly, how to manipulate girls. One thing that I cannot stand seeing is people teaching young men how to neg women. Oh, you're kind of okay. It's lame. Just be the best man you can be. Because if you can become that man, you now have the opportunity to be able to act like a gentleman and not have to do things to manipulate other people. You're just that guy. And I think that we're trying to build young men that are that guy, even if it's not a Tate status, even if it's not a Fresh or Myron status or a Destiny status. Maybe they're just a person that lives in a small town, has respect for people in the community, makes a couple $100,000 a year, which is a lot, and they live a full, fulfilled life where they can have all the things that they wanted, and they worked hard to get it, so they really appreciate it. I don't believe in giving people compliments on something they didn't work hard for, if it's just something natural, because it won't mean anything to you. And so I feel the same way for young men. If they have to work for it, they understand life's going to be hard, they go through the struggles, just like you went through the struggles in your business. It wouldn't be as sweet if you didn't have the pain. And so I think what we need to do is tell young men that it's going to be painful, it's going to hurt, you're going to get hit in the face, you're going to get broken, you might go bankrupt, but if you just keep fighting, you're going to be really proud of the man you become. And I don't think there's anything other than that a young man needs to know.